Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa Land. We are live in Los Angeles on #FridayFeels. We have an incredible visual storyteller in the house. Jordan Wright, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to LaLa Land. We know you've been on tour for years.
Yeah.
We've got some exciting new projects happening, and they're very conscious. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Okay, Spark Notes. I just got back from Japan. I'm launching an app and a platform called Intent On. The slogan is removing I from the intention, because I want to have a place on the internet that's free from algorithms and ego, where unfortunately there's a lot of clickbait happening now on social media, and I just want to create stuff that's very conscious and that is being created for the purpose of expressing yourself truly so other people can hopefully express themselves truthfully as well. And I have a movie coming out that's about that, TV series called Self-Expression that's coming out. I wrote a book called Forever in the Infinite Now, which touches upon that subject. Yeah, anyway.
I was so impressed by your platform. I mean, it kind of like, I went to one thing, I started seeing the music videos, then I went to the next thing, I was like, and he's doing this, oh my gosh, and he's doing this. Yeah. You're so conscious.
Thank you.
And tell us about your journey to awakening.
Yeah, I kind of studied psychology and I was really into physics and learning how the universe worked from, I guess, the human's mind perspective. And understanding your own thoughts, why other people may be thinking other things, and I guess the common denominator and all of that was it really has nothing to do with the essence of who you are. It's just we're all mirror reflections of one another, and we're the light passing through us, and we're just every interaction is kind of in alignment with where you currently are. And then to learn how to kind of tap into that, whether it's yoga or meditation or art's kind of the most beautiful way of stepping away from your ego, because you're letting it pass through you. A singer is allowing the music to pass through them, and the instrument, the dancer is allowing themselves to be in flow and let their body be the representation of that.
I just love that. I remember Mother Teresa saying, I just want to be God's flute, or I want to be God's pencil. Yeah. I just love that. When do you feel most deeply in alignment with your essence? I think I wasn't consciously aware of it, but when I was taking photos, I was kind of, I think it's like a camera is a tool that teaches you how to see without a camera. So it's like you get to step away from it and almost like remove yourself from your ego and your notion of self. And that's why I got really into photography and videography and filmmaking when I was younger. And then through the process of meditating, learning how to be silent within your own thoughts and not be scared of your own thoughts, and realize we aren't our thoughts, the same thoughts we had 5 minutes ago aren't the same thoughts we're gonna have 5 minutes from now. So to almost visualize it like a wave, and you can sit at the shore and watch your thoughts pass in front of you. And it's either, if you're thinking about the past, you're living in a state of depression. If you're thinking about the future, you're living in a state of anxiety. So if you're living in the present, you're happy, and that's where love is, that's where your conscious awareness is, and we get to just witness that. So I think through learning how to meditate, just being alone within my own thoughts, I got to open it up and be like, well, maybe I'll just write what I'm thinking and not be scared of judgment. And then, that can translate into a book if you have the faith in yourself to do that. And the same with, everyone's a poet, everyone's an artist. It's just what's your medium? What's your way of doing it?
Tell us about your feature film that's coming out. Sounds profound.
Yeah, it's called Discovery of the Divine Consciousness. And
love that.
Yeah, thank you. I guess it's the visual representation of how I was able to basically experience ego death. And ego death is just, no longer associating with like the labels that society has given you. At a very young age, you're born and like, he's a boy, he likes the color blue, and you're this ethnicity and this, you like this specific sex, and you get to strip all of that away. And the more you strip away your ego, the more you can look at another human within their own eyes and be like, oh, we're the same. We have the same light passing through all of us. The only difference is the lens and the perspective in which we're witnessing it. So
what was the catalyst for that ego death for you?
I guess it was the first time I really sat down and started to meditate, and I would visualize the younger version of myself. And I did mirror work where I look in my own eyes in the mirror, and we all have a perception of what we think we look like. So I would look into the mirror and I'd watch my face literally morph into my sister, my dad, my mom, and I'm like, oh,
the shape shifting.
Yeah, I'm like, this is just a projection. And when you're looking at another person, if you're like, oh, this is a female who's this certain age who grew up in this place, you're going to witness them as that. But if you're like, oh, this is, let me just see them as the same light that's within me, then you get to realize we're all just, whether or it's animals or not just humans, we're all, the Big Bang happened, we all stemmed from all of that. We're made of stardust. So the more you can strip away your ego.
Completely.
And then the film shows
some people are scared of that. Like, I am divine. They're like, who do you think you are? But it's the I am that is the oneness with all of it. It doesn't mean we're experiencing being separate, but how do you deal with that? Because some people are so cool with it, and some people are like, "Who do you think you are?"
I think it's the notion of God, and it's your ego isn't God. That's why certain artists, whether it's Kanye having this like God mentality, we're all extensions of divinity, but we're all light. It's not your ego that you're like, if you don't know how to disassociate yourself from your ego, but still stay grounded. That's why in yoga and meditation, it's really important to learn to stay grounded. Yeah, our brain or our consciousness is in the ethers, but we're still humans, very much rooted on this like physical planet. So to learn how to root yourself is very important. But when you're speaking to yourself, you're speaking to a mirror in your own head, and when you're speaking to another person out loud, you're speaking into a mirror. And we're all light, and time is light. If we moved at the speed of light, then time would cease to exist. So to kind of pick up and witness that is your witness consciousness, to realize that you are light and we're all light. And don't be scared of the divinity that's in you, that you are an extension of God, because everybody is. And the more you just don't associate yourself with your ego. And if you don't know how to do that, then there's amazing steps to go about it, whether it's meditation or yoga or stretching or bike riding, running, sweating, eating like things that are good for you. Your body's your temple. It's the greatest vessel you ever have. So what you're putting into it is what you're going to be.
What would you say is the essence of all those practices? Because I feel like there's an essence that, of course, maybe is God, is source, is the I am.
Yeah.
But how else would you describe the essence of all those practices? What are they?
Yeah, it's a feeling. It's almost like being a battery. It's being energy. So knowing when you are feeling in your state of homeostasis or feeling your happiest. So we either learn from pain and sadness, and we can repeat that cycle and be like, this doesn't feel good, this doesn't feel good, this doesn't feel good. Oh, okay, this doesn't feel good. And then, so the obstacles are, the obstacles don't block the path, they are the path. So it's your perception of it. So if it's like, this is negative, there's no such thing as negative. It's just the universe is showing you what's in alignment with you. So allow yourself to just learn from the beauty of it. So if you're meeting someone, like, be open to that, and then feel it, and then feel the happiness that is there. And it's just it's not wanting, knowing that you have everything that you currently have within your current state, and then everything is just like icing on the cake.
So how do you stay balanced with that? I mean, clearly you've been on tour, you work with some of the most sought after celebrities. You are one of the most sought after directors.
Oh, that's very kind.
How do you stay balanced in that?
I think I had a really beautiful, everything's like a mirror reflection. So I was able to have a really beautiful mirror experience of, touring with people that had stature and fame and money, and to witness, that doesn't make you happy. So if money doesn't make you happy, if fame doesn't make you happy, if no external source is going to make you happy, then what will make you happy? Because I should be able to be equally as happy sitting in traffic as I am on a beach in Fiji. Because if you're sitting on the beach in Fiji, but your head is thinking like, I wish I had more, then are you even there? So it's just learning how to be present within the essence of your own being, and that taps into love too, because every relationship you have is just a relationship with yourself. But you can't, if you don't love yourself fully in the essence of who you are fully, you will never be able to love another person fully. So you won't be able to give them all of that. Yeah.
Just love that. So of course, one of my favorite teachers, I guess, is Ramana Maharshi. Yeah. And people would always ask, how do you know if you're heading in the right direction with your spiritual practice or this and that? And he would always say, by the degree of freedom from thought itself. Yeah. And he said that in your freedom from thought, you experience what you would call the I am, the source, happiness. Yeah. But there's not even the thought of happiness. There's not even the thought of I am. There's no thought.
Yeah, it's just a space of nothingness, and I guess it all stems from the fear of dying, or the ego's notion of dying. So that's why we're always kind of like wanting to accumulate stuff or stature, to like leave something behind, or just things, attachments that we're trying to grasp and hold on to. But in that space of nothingness, it's not that it's nothing, it's just no thing. There's no label, no attachment. But in that space of nothingness is everything. So whether it's like the yin and yang symbol showing that there's, within the darkness is the light. It's we are the perpetual non-duality of light and dark. So in giving and receiving, you only get what you give. So that flow, just allow yourself to be in that flow.
It's one of the greatest discoveries ever. And for the longest time, when I would read spiritual texts, I'd read them in such a literal way. And I would say, well, Jesus says and Buddha says emptiness. And they talk about this spiritual poverty. And why would I want that? And then later you come to a realization, there's complete fullness in that emptiness. There's richness in that poverty, but that the thoughts can't in any way capture any of it. It's simply an experience, and even that's not a great word for it, but it's found really only in the silence or the presence.
Yeah, well, your mind projects only illusion. So this is like our projected conscious hallucination that we're all having together within this current experience. But whatever you're placing your attention on is what you're going to see. If you're thinking about something sad that happened, you're going to see sadness. It's like analogy that really helps me, especially since I do make videos, is like sitting in a movie theater and watching the screen, and you believe what's happening on the screen so truthfully that you become transformed in that and you forget where you are. But the source of that is a projector in the back of the room. How often do you stop to think like, oh, it's being projected onto this, and this is our movie screen, and we are the light that's being projected through us, and based on the frequency that we're holding, that's the movie we're going to see. So if we're holding sadness, we're going to see a sad movie.
Right.
If we're thinking happiness, we'll see a happy movie.
So true.
But, yeah.
And it's so, one of the best things about the show and discovering all these different modalities is that there's a common theme to all of it, and everyone has their own path, but all paths lead within and to truth. And so I just want to honor you for bringing that through your art, through your film, through your book, through everything, helping people just layer the same truths that have been around forever in a new expression. And thank you so much for allowing yourself to say, I am, I am that.
Well, thank you.
So,
And
yeah.
hopefully what I hope people take away from it is just express yourself the most truthful way you can. Don't be scared to write your thoughts. Don't be scared to take a photo that you feel expresses how you're feeling within that moment. I think too often now people are scared to express how they're feeling, but we're all artists, and the more you let that out, the more you can be that
That's
sincere.
so interesting. I was always afraid to journal because I was afraid it'd be the truth, and I didn't want to accept the truth of what I was feeling.
Yeah, you go through those feelings. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to cry. All of that is beautiful, but then realize you're perfect the way you are under all of that. But learn how to learn that cathartic release, and art is the most beautiful way of doing it. And don't be scared of judgment, because sometimes when you're speaking your truth, it may awaken something in someone else in a beautiful way, or it may fear someone because it's something that they haven't tapped into within themselves. But at the end of the day, it still has nothing to do with you. So just speak your truth, allow that to be passed through you, and then you can then be the happiest version of yourself, and the greatest gift you could ever give someone is your own happiness.
Suppression doesn't
Amen to
work
that
out.
one.
Suppression doesn't work out too well, that's for sure. So thank you so much. Where can people find you?
I'm on all forms of social media, Taylor Cut Films, and then the name of my app and platform is Intent On. Right now it's intenton.io, but I'm going to be announcing the release of my app hopefully within the next 2 weeks or so.
Wow, I'm
All
starting on a
right.
break.
Definitely.
Did early.
Thank you so much. Such an honor.
Yeah,
to
thank
meet
you.
Yes,
Thanks
for
for
sure.
having me. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.